Today am going to learn about Warhammer 40k, or at least we're going to start. It depends how long this takes. I am told that Warhammer apparently has some lore. Is that right, Aelfrik? Just a little bit?
A little bit.
Just a little bit?
Yeah, just very, very quick.
Very quick. Okay, so joining with me is my moderator from Twitch, Aelfrik, who likes Warhammer 40k and apparently knows some stuff about it. I know nothing. I put these slides together and labeled them, and if they are wrong, it is my fault. I looked stuff up on the fan wiki page and just pulled from that. And oh my gosh, I guess there might be a little bit of lore because the little scrolly wheel was very small and I was scared.
There's a little bit of lore, that's for sure.
Yeah, but this is just going to be a summary. Aelfrik's going to be pulling this off the top of his head. So if he forgets something or there's an error, it's like two friends just hanging out, and one is very passionate about Warhammer and trying to educate me. And so I'm going to try to learn. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I might get something wrong, but I'm going to say it very confidently, so we'll just go with it.
Yeah. Okay, so you ready to start?
Yeah. Where do you want to start?
So we're starting with, let me pull, I have a little note here with the labels and stuff. Okay. We're starting with the Imperium of Man.
All right, so Imperium of Man is not really a army you use by itself, but it's kind of like all of mankind.
So it's like an empire of man?
Yeah, so a long time ago, humans spread across the stars, and then bad shit happened, and they lost their empire, and then the guy called the Emperor showed up and basically was like, we're getting it back. And then he conquered most of the human known Milky Way, and that's the Imperium of Man.
Okay. Was he like royalty and that's how he was the emperor, or he just show up and say, I am the emperor?
No one really knows, but he's like psychic and like 10 feet tall, depending on who's looking at him.
Why is he 10 feet tall?
He's an enormous fascist, but also trying to save humanity from itself. So,
are most people 10 feet tall, or is he just special?
No, it's kind of like whoever looks at him kind of sees what they expect to see from him, because he's so crazy psychically powerful.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Then, so the first one that I already have here, I guess, is these are factions, is what we call them, right? Yep. Okay. Oh gosh. Adeptus Astartes.
So those are the Space Marines.
All right.
Like, the reason there's so many of them is because they're like the most popular for people to play.
Oh, there's not like a lore reason. It's just they're very popular.
I think they're easy to make, and they're colorful, and they're strong. And so the Emperor needed like soldiers to conquer the galaxy, and he's like, normal humans are good enough.
Oh, okay.
And so he took a bunch of people, like shoved extra organs and like genetic mutations. Well, not mutations, they wouldn't want to say that, but like genetic changes, and made these like 7-8 foot tall, 9 foot tall, maybe superhuman Space Marines. He called them his Angels of Death.
Not 10 feet tall, though, because then the Emperor would feel challenged, right?
No. He's got to be the biggest guy.
Yeah.
And he's not around anymore. He's kind of around. So the reason there's...
he's not around, but he's kind of around?
20 legions, and you can see only some of them are on this list for the Space Marines.
Mm-hmm.
Because at some point there was a big like rebellion, and half of them went to chaos, which we'll get to.
Okay. All right.
And like in the fight, the Emperor got almost killed.
Okay. Almost killed. All right.
So he's on a big throne now.
Killed. Okay. All right. I think I get it. Okay, so we're gonna do some of the legions now of the Space Marines.
Okay.
So the first one I got is Dark Angels. They're the first legion.
Yep. Do you want me to tell you about them, or do you want to tell me what you think their deal is, and then I'll tell you the reality?
I'm not gonna be able to tell. The picture I have, it's just like he's green and has a red gun. I assume
does he have a cloak on or robes?
No, I pulled these.
Oh, okay.
So there's so many different pictures I saw from like each legion, and some of them looked really cool, but then others didn't have the cool images. So I just pulled like the basic bitch image of them.
So every legion, the way you think about it is every legion has their own gimmick.
Okay.
And nowadays there's like a bunch of like sub-legions called chapters. You don't gotta worry about those right now. But each one has their own gimmick. So the Dark Angels' whole gimmick is two things. One, they're knights. So they do all this like knightly chivalrous shit.
Perfect.
And then the other side of them is they're super secretive. Because sort of maybe kind of half of them or a lot of them might have tried to become heretics and the other ones killed them. And if anyone ever found out, their honor would be stained.
Wait, they tried to be heretics, so they tried to join chaos?
Of course not. They would never do that.
Oh, okay. How are they stealthy when they're in armor?
They're not stealthy. They're secretive. Like
Oh.
they don't tell people stuff. They don't tell people their deal. They're hunting for like the fallen, which are like the dark angels that survive that were heretics, but not really because they don't exist.
Of
But
course,
they would love to know where they are. But if you know where they are, they want to talk to you in their deep dark basement with all their fun friends.
Oh, okay. So it's like a party. They have secret basement parties. Yeah. Okay.
And their job for the Emperor back in the day was like, I don't want this planet, anyone to know that the people on this planet ever existed. And that's what the Dark Angels would do. Like they were the executioners that you didn't know that they executed anybody because there was no memory of them.
Okay, understood. So they're very secret, and anything they know, they don't know. And
anything you know, they want to know.
I know they want to know.
And they want you not to tell anybody.
But they don't want me to know that they know that the others know that they know that I know. Okay, yeah, I got it. Okay. So the next one is White Scars, and they are the 5th Legion? Okay, but before we start on this, what happened to the 2nd to 4th Legion?
So the 2nd Legion, no one knows. They existed at one point. They had a Primarch, which is like their original leader, which have their own lore. If you ever want to go into another thing just about the Primarchs, it's pretty crazy. But the 2nd Legion, they're just gone. Something happened to the Primarch. No one knows. And like the people that did know had it like wiped from their memories.
Okay.
And like the only guy that knows that they got wiped from their memories also knows that he asked them to do it, which is one of the Primarchs. And so he's like, I'm just not going to ask why.
Does the Emperor remember?
Probably, but he's like a corpse on a throne that's barely alive, so he's not telling anybody.
Okay. What about the 3rd and 4th Legions?
They're two of the ones that went to chaos. So we will get to them.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. The pieces, they're fitting. They're fitting in my brain.
Is the mathematic equation going through this eye in front of you?
Yeah. Okay, so White Scars. The picture here, they have like, it's old. It's white armor. One has like a red lightning bolt down its knee. They look like white with a scar, perhaps.
Yeah, so they originally came from a planet that's basically like ancient Mongols.
Okay.
Like Mongolia, so the Genghis Khan.
Okay.
But like an 8-foot tall techno space marine.
All right.
They like to go fast. They jump on bikes and they ride around their jet bikes and fly past you and kill you with guns and lances and probably swords.
Okay, so they're the Sonic Space Marines. Gotta go fast.
Yeah, they gotta go fast.
Gotta go fast. They even have
they're always going fast.
Yeah.
And they're called White Scars because they scar themselves as part of their tradition, so they have scars on their bodies.
When do they scar themselves?
I think it's like when they win their big stuff in their life, they give themselves scars.
So the more scarred they are, the more badass they are. The more you should be afraid.
Mm-hmm.
And if they have no scars, you're like, psh, they're a noob. Let's get them.
Yeah. And they kind of like do their own thing. They're not like the Dark Angels, but they kind of like, they do their own thing. And so they're known to be like standoffish while also being like super loyal and are one of the reasons why the Empire didn't collapse.
Okay. So they're so far, they seem the most normal out of everybody. Even though we've gotten into
normal is like going 100 miles an hour on a jetpack to like decapitate some dude.
Yeah, that's very normal. So normal. Incredibly normal. The next one, I liked this one's name, the Space Wolves. And
yeah,
this is basic armor, but someone like they had like post-heresy armor pictures or something, and they had like fur cloaks and stuff. It looked really neat, but
yeah, they're
I have
cool.
this boring picture of them right here.
So they are the Vikings, basically.
Oh.
They live on like a frozen world, like something like 20 or like some 15 of their units have the name wolf in them because they're all about wolves. And some of them sometimes turn into werewolves called.
Wait, what?
Called I forget what they're called. But yeah, it's like some genetic defect that some of them start becoming like werewolves.
How did they get a genetic defect that that just coincidentally turns them into wolves like they are obsessed with?
All of them have their own genetic stuff. We'll get to more like that made them powerful, but also has side effects.
But we can't call them mutations for some reason.
No, because mutations are from chaos.
Oh, okay. We're right. Yeah. These were all purposely organized
by the Emperor.
and done by the Emperor. Okay.
So part of it's because when all the Legion's Primarchs were like stolen by chaos and scattered across the galaxy. And so as the Emperor conquered, he found his Primarchs. But like because chaos had touched them or because they got scattered to frozen planet of radiation, like there were some changes to them.
Oh, but the Emperor is very benevolent and accepted them and their changes, bring them
that's what he did.
together.
That's
Praise
why
the
half of them
Emperor.
betrayed him because he was so benevolent and understanding. That's right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think
Space Wolves are his public executioner. So Dark Angels, you never know what they do. Space Wolves is he wants you to know that he kicked your ass. So he sends the Space Wolves and they like pillage and burn everything to the ground.
Do they howl?
And everyone knows that you got in trouble. Probably. I don't know.
I feel like they should howl. Like they like when they arrive to kick your ass and burn your town to the ground, they should all howl.
Probably.
Or have like a howling gun.
They also make alcohol that can actually get Space Marines drunk. So that's one of their claims to fame as well.
Oh, Space Marines don't get drunk easily?
No, because some of their organs or one of their organs like filters poisons so that they can't get poisoned because they're superhumans.
How many extra organs do they have?
A lot.
Do they have like extra hearts?
2 or 3 hearts. Yeah, they have a couple hearts at least.
Oh, do they have a couple livers?
No, I think they have a special liver. I think the extra hearts is the only extra thing they have.
Oh, okay.
And then they have like additional organs.
Okay. This makes sense. Makes sense. Extra hearts, very important. Okay, now we have the bananas, is what I've called them. The Imperial Fists.
19. They have 19 extra organs.
Oh wow, 19. That's quite a lot. How did maybe it makes sense then why they grew a little bit, probably to fit all those organs.
For all of them.
Like I can't imagine having like a couple extra hearts in my chest. But the Imperial Fist, I think it's the 7th Legion.
Yeah, so they are
bananas.
I want to say they're yellow. I want to say they're like Romans, but the other ones are like Romans. Their whole thing is like defense. They built forts and they built fortresses and they built fortifications and nothing could ever penetrate them, and that became a whole issue with another one of the Chaos guys. Because his Primarch and their Primarch had a big issue.
Oh, they had a disagreement.
Yeah, but they built like the fortress on Terra, which is Earth, that like defends the Emperor and all the good stuff. And they're the premier defensive dudes.
Okay, so they're like the super architects.
Yes.
The banana architects.
Yes.
Why are they called Imperial Fists though? Is it because they punch rocks or something?
I think it was because they were like the fists of the Imperium. I don't know the special thing with their name. I know at one point, because there's some shame, the Primarch started to use a thing called the pain glove that would like
pain glove.
Yeah, he put it on, it caused pain, and it would like be his like meditation for like penance for something he effed up.
Yeah, whenever I do something wrong or I'm late to a meeting, I put on my pain glove to help me meditate and focus.
That's one of the least like grim things in this world. Okay, so used to it.
The pain glove.
The pain glove's pretty benign.
Excuse me, ma'am. I gotta put on my pain glove for a moment. Just hold on right there. Yeah.
Now I am focused.
Oh my. Okay, next one is Blood Angels. And that is the
I know people are gonna think there's a lot
Legion.
more lore here, but like give us a break. If we ever want to go deeper, we can. But
yeah, this is just a summary. This is just baby steps. I'm already overloaded by names.
Baby's first 40k.
Yeah, this baby's first 40k.
So the Blood Angels are vampires.
Because that's normal people.
They have something called the Red Hunger, which makes them crave blood. And then they have something called the Black Rage, which is because their Primarch got murdered by the evil guy that started the Chaos Rebellion or the Chaos Space Marine Rebellion. It like psychically like damaged them all, so sometimes some of them will fall into this Black Rage, and then they have to go fight and die or get killed because there's uncontrollable.
Wait, so they were so attached to their leader.
Yeah, because he's an awesome guy.
Their leader being killed made them all go crazy, or
nope, just some of them.
Just some of them.
If they can't control the red thirst, or sometimes if they just get into like a crazy situation, or they're fighting for like months or years at a time, they start getting the Black Rage. And their whole shtick is like they're bloodthirsty, like murdered as Space Marines, but like there's some of the nicest, but like most honorable, like well put together ones because they fight against it. And so, like sometimes you don't want these guys to show up. Like if you're on a planet that's getting attacked and like the Dark Angels show up, that's not always a good thing for you. Like they're gonna kill the bad guys, but You're just a person, not
You mean the Blood Angels?
No, I'm saying like the Dark Angels show up. That's not a good thing. Like,
Oh.
but if the Blood Angels show up, that might be okay because they
That
care
might
about
be
people
okay. Okay.
sometimes.
Something. Yeah. Okay. So sometimes they care about people. So
Yeah.
it's better than the no times do they care
Space
about
Marine's
people.
job is to fight enemies, and so if they gotta show up to a planet because there's only so many of them, there's not that many Space Marines compared to like the trillions of people. So if they gotta show up, it's bad.
Okay.
So you might just be collateral damage, but the Blood Angels might be one of the groups that will go out of their way to maybe try not to kill you in the crossfire.
They'll maybe not murder you. Understood. Yeah. Okay. Do they also like have like the biggest grudge against the Chaos people because if their Primarch was the first one killed?
Oh yeah, they're angry.
Do they just
part of the Black Rage is like they go to the moment their guy was killed, and so whatever's in front of them is like that's the thing that killed our Primarch Sanguinus. Like, kill it.
That'd be rough if that happened at a family dinner.
Well, if your family dinners aren't that bad.
Well, I've heard family dinners, especially with Thanksgiving, can be awful. Can you imagine? Having an argument with Aunt Helen. Aunt Helen says some shit.
And killed my family.
Aunt Helen says
I kept talking stuff, and then the Black Rage consumed me.
I destroyed her and the turkey. I'm sorry, Blood Angels. That's probably not nice. Okay, next. Oh, okay. So we went. What were we at? We had the Imperial Fists, but now we got Iron Hands.
Yeah, Iron Hand is great. This for the name because of their iron hands, and their Primarch's name was Ferrus Manus, which means iron hands in Latin. And guess what his hands were made of?
Diamonds.
No.
No.
So we had Iron Hands, leader of the Iron Hands, with his iron hands.
Oh my gosh, that's very unique.
So so their whole thing is like offense, logic, cold-hearted brutality, remorselessness. They like are just logical.
So
as far as I know, like the flesh is weak. They replace a lot of their flesh with like cybernetics because the flesh is weak.
Oh, I've heard that before being said from
That's
fans.
a Mechanicus thing for some reason, but yeah.
Oh wait,
which is wrong because Ferrus Manus didn't want that, but because his hands were made of like this liquid living metal from an incident in his past, they're all like, oh, he had iron hands, so that must mean that iron is stronger.
We must become iron.
Pretty much. So they're cold, logical, like we're gonna kill these guys in the most logical way possible, and it kills 100 civilians. Well, that is better than 1,000 civilians, so let's go.
Do they like have math competitions and they kill their enemies with equations?
No, they kill their enemies with bullets and rockets and
but,
bolters and chain swords.
But
then they probably have math competitions in the background.
But how is that do they name their guns? Like, this is my logic gun. I just want to know, like, how is it logical? Like, how is it more logical than a blood angel killing someone?
I think it's logical that blood angels are like, well, hey, we can go this more dangerous route that puts us more danger, but we'll save the city. Whereas the Iron Hands are going to be like, this is the most efficient route that will get the least of us killed, that will kill the enemy. Therefore, we will do it. Oh. And the city will get destroyed, but that is a sacrifice. Only 1,000, 10,000, 1 million people. Compared to the rest of us, we're more important. Go.
Okay, so efficiency. That makes sense. That would be very logical. Efficiency.
No empathy. Just
emotions are weak.
Do it. Get the job done.
Emotions are weak. We got hands.
Yeah, some blood angel or salamander will be like, well, we're going to kill people. And they'll be like, does not compute.
We got hands.
We got our iron hands.
I got my iron
leader,
hands.
Iron Hands, because we are the Iron Hands.
Because we are so Iron Hands. We don't have no iron deficiency here. That'd be a great call sign. Like somebody's like, okay, we need the Iron Hands. We got an iron deficiency. Please come.
And the Iron Hands.
I want to know how their Primarch has living iron hands.
The story, I forget exactly what, but he had to like dip his hands into this like liquid living metal on his own planet to do something, I think, and then it coated his hands and turned his hands into living metal, basically.
Does the living metal like have its own personality?
No, I think it's living more than like it can heal from damage and like it works like skin. It might have been related to Necrons, but probably don't want to talk about that.
But because it wouldn't be none of the other. I remember that about 40k.
Filthy Xenos.
Yeah, no alien stuff, please.
No,
no. Aliens are gross and they smell bad.
Which makes some sense. Aliens really screwed over the man between when like the old empire collapsed and the new emperor showed up. So that's why they're all against Xenos, because basically all the aliens, effed them up.
Okay. That makes sense.
Even though that might always be true nowadays.
Understood. Okay, the next we have, I like this one's name the best. The Ultramarines, the 12th Legion.
You have the Primarch's name on the list, right?
Yeah, I do.
How do you say his name?
I don't want to say it.
No, say it. Say it and then say Marinara too.
No, how dare you, Marinara?
Right,
you said it, so I can say it.
Say his name.
Robout Gilliman.
It's canonically, as far as I know, it's Reboot Gulliman.
Roboot Gulliman? Gulliman.
He's the Benedict Cumberbatch, so you can feel free to like.
Robuchner Gulliman.
Robot Girly Man is a famous one.
Robot Girly Man, I like that one.
Those are the Ultramarines, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they are Romans. Like,
okay.
They even have like their leader Reboot has like the whole laurels thing in his hair sometimes in his pictures.
Oh yeah, Reboot Gershensnack.
Fun fact: in the current lore, he's the only Primarch on the good, not the good side. That's not true. The loyalist side that is actually like alive and active. All the other ones are either dead or missing in stasis, hidden, something like that.
That's cool. How old is he?
He was in stasis for 10,000 years because the Emperor went into his thing in like 31,000 or 30,000, and now it's 40k, so it's in the 41st millennium.
So he's old. How old do humans live? Status. How old do Space Marines live to be, assuming they're not killed?
I think they die from natural causes, or if they do, it's rare. There's one other one. The leader of the Blood Angels right now, his name is Dante.
Hey.
Funnily enough.
Hey.
And he's been around since the 30,000s. Like I think he's been a leader for like 10,000 years, like active.
That's normal. That's a normal human thing to live forever. Yeah.
Because these are normal humans, right?
Not very normal.
Genetic freaks of nature.
No, completely normal. No mutations here. Nope.
So the Ultramarines are known for a couple things. One, they're known for logistics. That's why Reboot was so good. He wasn't the best fighter. He wasn't the best tactician. He wasn't the best strategist, but he was the best at like putting an empire together and making sure it runs. So maybe he was the best strategist, but and then Ultramarines are like the jack of all trades. Like they are good at vehicles, but they're not the White Scars. They're good at defensive, but they're not the Fists. They're good at like offense, but they're not Blood Angels.
Oh, okay.
They're right in the middle. They can do everything. At some points, people have thought they were like the Marty Stews of Warhammer, but actually, that's more their thing. They're good at everything, not great at everything.
Okay. Are they named after their color, ultramarine blue? Because
that is the color.
Yeah.
But it's actually because their home system is named Ultramar.
Oh.
So they're the Ultramarines. It's a weird play on words.
Okay, so this is my new headcanon for them. So they didn't ever have ultramarine blue, but then one day after the Emperor brought everybody together or whatever, they were like, "What?
See, what was that? The Emperor?
The Emperor brought everybody together." He also introduced them. He's like, "Oh, fancy about your home name. Here is this beautiful color named ultramarine blue."
And they're like, "Oh my god,
it's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen!" And then there's a huge revolution and then their whole like home were like, "We're all blue now."
They're like, "Reboot, look at this.
Reboot, look at this blue."
Never say my name again.
Reboot is like, "Oh my god, that's real blue delicious."
Real blue delicious. Oh no.
Yep. You told me, and I can call him whatever I want now. It's perfect. Okay. Next one is Salamanders, and they're the 18th Legion. And I noticed that their Primarch's name was Vulcan, so I feel like that makes you happy, because don't you like Vulcan?
I'm a fan of the Salamanders, yeah.
Yeah.
So their whole thing is, one, they're also green.
I see that, and they have like a flame foot.
Yeah, so they're based on the world they're on. Their whole like genetic thing is like they're all super tall. They're taller than most Space Marines, I think. Super strong. They have black skin, and not in like just African American, like black, like coal black skin, and glowing red eyes.
Okay.
And they're also like the nicest of all the Space Marines, despite all that.
Aw, they're the nicest ones.
Yep. If you want someone to show up on your planet, you want the Salamanders to show up because they actually care.
Why?
Vulcan was like the nicest Primarch because he was the nicest Primarch.
Oh, okay.
All the Primarchs had like an aspect of the Emperor they like embodied. I don't know if it was on purpose or that's just the gimmick they gave him.
I feel like the
And
Space
Vulcan
Marines
had
like
his, like-
imprint on their Primarch. They're like, Daddy Primarch, we want to
Yeah,
be just
because
like
they're
you.
their gene seed, part of one of the organs that gives them like what makes them a salamander is based on their Primarch's genetic code.
Gene
So they actually
seeds.
do like take aspects from their Primarch.
So he
But
so
Vulcan
Primarch
was
is
like
the daddy.
kindness.
Okay.
Yeah. Vulcan was like the nicest of the Space Marines. He thought Space Marines are there to protect the people of the Imperium, not just the Imperium.
Okay.
And like they actually like go back to their family. Most of the time when you become a Space Marine, you never see your family again. They take you from your planet or you go from the planet that they're based on and you become a Space Marine. Salamanders actually stay in contact with their families and they go back home at certain times.
Oh. So why are they the salamanders?
Like the fire lizard monster. That's what they're named after.
Like a
Because they love
dragon?
fire too. So once again, they're the nicest guys, but they're giant, pitch black with glowing red eyes, and they love flamethrowers and like napalm and like everything that sets things on fire and burns it to death horribly.
But what about dragons? Is it like a dragon?
Salamander's probably the closest thing to a dragon, like on their world.
I like them. I like them
Yeah.
for because they're kind, of course, for no other reason. Just because they're kind and their symbol looks very nice. It's very well thought out. It's very aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah. So they will show up, terrifying, huge, glowing red eyes, burn everything to melting puddles of flesh, but they will try their best not to burn the good people. And they will actually like sometimes like get in trouble because they'll try to stay behind and save people.
Oh.
Instead of like, we're done, we're gone, but we're out of here.
Okay. Understood. So salamanders are the nice guys of the Space Marine. Yep. Okay, understood.
Nice in quotes.
They're so nice. They're so nice. They're just the nicest. They keep you warm and toasty too if you're cold.
If there had to be a good guy of the Imperium, it would be the salamanders, and everyone else would just be steps down from that.
Okay. Next we have the 19th Legion, the Raven Guard.
So they are edgy and stealthy.
Are they like Nevermore? Are they like Edgar Allan Poe enthusiasts?
That was the last word spoken by their Primarch before he vanished. I think he went into the Chaos Realm to like repent for something.
Really? It was Nevermore?
Yeah.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah, 40k is tropey as shit. His name's Corvus Corax, which I think Corvus is Raven.
Yeah, Corvus. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And they all are pale. They all have black hair.
Of course. Do they like poetry?
Edgy boys. Probably.
They like poetry.
But they're actually stealthy. Like, not you mentioned, like, how can the Dark Angels be stealthy and they're huge? And I said they're not. These guys are stealthy. Like, they do sneak attacks. They will sneak up on you. They will be raiding when you show up. So even though they're 8 feet tall, they don't have to hide because they were already there when you walk into the building and you didn't know they were there. And then they murder you.
How, though? Like, do they have, like, special, not noisy armor?
Nope.
Then how are they stealthy, though? Would you hear the big, if they're big and in armor?
No, you don't hear them because they were already there when you got there.
But
they didn't sneak in. They were just good enough that when you walk into your house, they had been hiding there for like 3 days. And then when you open your closet, there's an 8-foot tall guy in there with a chainsaw and he kills you.
Oh, okay. So they're stealthy in that they will be there before whoever is supposed to be there is there.
One of the ways, but then they're just stealthy. So I guess sometimes they can also just hide in some bushes somewhere that are tall enough and where do these guys come from? And then they kill you with their claws.
They don't even have like cloaking or invisibility. It's just...
Not that I know of. I don't know. I don't know all the specifics of every Legion. But
just imagine there's a birthday party. We got to surprise them. They're there like a week early, just waiting. They're like, we're ready. We got the cake. We're ready. Oh. Okay, so this next one, you have to explain, was not a Legion, was the Grey Knights?
So the Grey Knights were a Legion, I think, made by the Emperor himself.
Okay.
I could be wrong about that, but they are a more secretive and elite unit of Space Marines. All of them are psychers. So a psyker is like a psychic person, which is like a wizard, I guess. So they have psychic powers that they can do magic with, basically.
Oh, yeah, because that's a normal human thing, is to do magic power.
Yeah.
Psychic magic
And a
power,
lot of
course.
people think in the Imperium nowadays think psychers are risky or dangerous or mutations or like with chaos, because if you're not good at being a psyker, you can accidentally rip open a hole into the chaos realm and let demons through. Sometimes with your own body as the portal. Like it's nasty.
Wait, what? You make your own body a portal and demons
That's one variation of what
come
bad
out
things
of your
psychic can
stomach?
happen. Yeah, sure.
Oh no!
But
Why?
the emperor was a psyker, and he viewed psychers as like the future, like because more and more psychers are being born as time goes on. So in his mind, like humanity's gonna be a psychic race at some point.
But like, if it is the gateway to chaos, which they hate so much, why would they think that is the evolutionary change?
If you control it, you're fine. And if you
But
control it, you can not be that problem. But the problem is when everyone is superstitious about it, it kind of perpetuates the whole issue because now you're a psyker and no one tells you what it is. And if you don't get found by the Imperium, you might end up hurting yourself. And if the Imperium finds you, yeah, you could get taught, but they might also feed you to the Emperor to keep him alive, or feed you to the giant lighthouse that lets us do faster than light travel.
Wait. Let's roll back for a second. They feed people to the Emperor?
So he's on the golden throne, which is what's keeping him alive.
Yeah.
He's basically a corpse, but he's still alive, and he's maintaining what's called the Astronomicon, which is the only way that we can do faster light travel, because faster light travel for humans is you go into hell, you go into chaos, and you pop out of chaos somewhere else.
Okay.
And the Astronomicon is visible by certain people in the warp, which is where chaos is.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
And it's like a beacon, so you use that as like your reference point to get where you're going. But in order to keep it burning, one, the Emperor has to be alive, and so they feed him psychers, like their psychic energy, which kills them, to keep him alive.
Okay.
And then the beacon itself needs to have like 1,000 psychers running any time that get burnt out over time.
Oh. Do they spoon feed him? Like, how do they feed him?
I don't know. I don't think it's ever been shown. It's just a big pile of brains.
Oh, just mush him into a pulp.
And just like rub it on his face, I guess, because he can't move.
Exfoliating, rub it, absorb, moisturize the Emperor with the psychic goo.
Yeah. So if you get a psyker and you're found by the black ships, which are what's go around trying to find psychers, your best bet is that they let you become a sanctioned psyker where they train you. Or if you're cool enough, you can become a Grey Knight. Or if you're not good enough, you get
psychic
fed.
goo.
Yep.
Why do they, again, if they hate chaos so much, why are they using chaos to travel? And then also,
it's the only way they know how.
Why is the Emperor the only one that can do it? It's because he's the Emperor?
Not that he can, only one that can do it is that, so every ship has somebody that can like path through chaos, but they have to have a reference point, which is the Astronomicon.
Oh.
And the Emperor is the only one powerful enough to like fuel it, because you can see this thing psychically from anywhere in the galaxy.
Oh, okay.
Used to be able to. There's a situation right now in the lore, but we're not going to get into it.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's for
he's the only one strong enough, which is another issue because the Golden Throne is slowly breaking down, at least up until the most recent, when now it might not be, but I'm going off of like what lore has been all the way up until like the last edition.
Oh, okay.
And if the Emperor ever dies for good, no more fast and light travel.
And everybody who would be out would be lost, right?
Yeah, no one can get to you if you're in danger. No one can get to your planets. The Empire would collapse.
Okay. All right. Next. Now we're moving on, I think, out of the Space Marines.
Do you want to finish the Grey Knights?
Oh, yeah, we can finish the Grey Knights. Sorry, I was getting ready with the next slide. Yeah, go ahead and finish.
So they're anti-chaos. So they're made by the Emperor and his friend to be Space Marines that could fight chaos demons, because they're all psychic, so they can hurt demons a lot better. And then they are, based on their training, they're made impossible to be corrupted by chaos. And I forget exactly how they do that, but
okay. So the Grey Knights aren't gonna accidentally make a demon portal out of their stomach.
No.
Okay.
And they can actually hurt and they won't fall. So whenever there's demon issues, the Grey Knights might show up, but they're like elite. Like it takes however many normal Space Marine candidates that can be psychic to become a Grey Knight. Like Space Marines are already like 1 in 100 or something like that, or 1 in 1,000 make it through, and then Grey Knights are even worse, like 1 in like 10,000 will make it through. Or something
they're
like
extra special.
Extra special, super powerful, and they're all wizards that can also kill you with guns and swords.
Wizards with guns. That's pretty terrifying. Much. Gun wizards.
And that's enough for them. You don't need to know more about them yet.
All right. So then moving on. The next one is, and I'm thinking for this video, since we're pretty decently into it already, we are gonna go, we'll finish the Imperium of Man, and then if people like it enough, then we'll do a part 2 and we'll do chaos and stuff. So
Better like this. I'm talking a lot more than I usually do.
Okay, so next one is Adeptus Custodes, and I thought they looked the coolest out of the pictures I was getting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So remember how the Space Marines were like super duper humans?
Yeah.
Remember how the Grey Knights were like even super duper humans that are also wizards?
Uh-huh.
Well, these guys aren't wizards, but they're like super duper Space Marines. Like,
oh, so super duper Space Marines.
yeah, they're like the Captain America to Space Marines. Like the Space Marines are like the Captain America to your normal dude.
Oh, double Captain
Plus,
America.
like organs and a couple more feet and muscle.
Oh, they're even taller now.
Yeah, they're even bigger.
Okay.
So these guys are like the Emperor's personal Space Marines / bodyguard / like his royal guard that would go and do his like bidding with like speaking in his name with his voice type of thing.
Okay. Since the Emperor is like melting on a throne or something, who directs them?
Their leader is the director now, but they kind of up until the most recent period in lore of the last couple editions, they basically stayed back. They weren't an actual army.
Okay.
And only since Reboot Gulliman woke up and basically is now like the leader of the Empire.
Oh,
they
Reboot
basically
is?
said, yeah, they basically said the Emperor's will is that we go out and do stuff now. They decided, so now they're going out to actually do more. But there's not many of them. Once again, even more than the Grey Knights, like you can make entire Space Marine chapters for what it takes to make one Custodes because it's so hard to become one and training and the surgery and stuff.
It makes me curious, like what the requirements are compared to a normal Space Marine. Then that makes them so much better.
Do you want to go into it?
I don't know if we maybe give me one snippet. Give me one snippet.
I don't know. I'd look them up like snippets. It might be one of those like tell not show things where they say, "Oh yeah, it's so
hard,
so much harder to become one."
We can't tell you the secrets because if we told you, then we'd have to kill you.
The product is something that is crazy. Like if you play these guys on the tabletop, like each unit is worth points. And like you'll have like a handful of Custodes to your enemy's like army.
Oh wow.
They're all super mega duper strong.
Also, the picture I have, it's like they have like a spear gun, and I am all for that.
Yeah, they use spears, they got gold armor.
Beautiful. It's beautiful. Okay.
And there's also some subdivisions that we don't talk about, but mostly it's the big gold armor.
Of course there's subdivisions. I assume there's always subdivisions. There's always.
Oh yeah, let's not even get into chapters.
We must go deeper. Let's go deeper.
We're talking about legions and then we get into chapters.
All right. Okay, the next one is Adeptus Mechanicus. And I'm okay, Aelfrik, I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I'm gonna say that they like machines a lot. They look very machiney.
So when the Emperor started his whole like crusade, he just had Earth. He conquered Earth with his Thunder Warriors, which are like the Proto Space Marines.
Okay.
On Mars, there was a whole other group of humans that would become the Adeptus Mechanicus. I don't remember what their names were back when they were on Mars, but they were all about technology and machines, and they are the ones that are like the flesh is weak. Okay. So they'll replace their body with tech and stuff until when they get old enough, they're mostly robots save for their brain and stuff.
Okay.
Because AIs aren't allowed. AIs are part of the reason why the first empire collapsed way back in the day.
Oh, so they're like dangerously close to it.
That's why you'll see like if you ever look at like artwork, there'll be like human faces attached to computers and stuff because you can use a human brain to like intelligently control a computer, but you can't use a machine brain.
Oh, okay. That's.
But anyway,
it's to me that seems a lot like you're getting really close there. I'm sure there's nobody who's ever gone over the line or anything like that.
Mechanicus, like all the parts of the Empire, like look at each other like suspiciously all the time. Like, the Mechanicus are like the Inquisition, which aren't on here because they're not an actual army you can play. Like they're always like, I don't know about these Mechanicus guys. They seem like they're going a little bit too far. And the Mechanics guys are like, you guys aren't going far enough. We're gonna.
Oh my.
They're all about tech. They're in charge of like maintaining the ships, maintaining the tech, maintaining all the technology stuff. So that's why they get away with a lot of it because they're the only ones that know how to do it.
Yeah, because you sort of need them to go places.
And even they have forgot a lot. So one of the whole like gimmicks or like tropes with the Imperium of Man is that it's been around so long And everything's been so like absorbed into this like worship the empire, worship the emperor religion thing, which he hated in the first place. He'd never liked it, but he's been dead for 10,000 years. That like they have gotten so like, oh, we don't repair it something. It's like the canticles of repairing. I will sit there and chant and press the buttons in the right order and anoint the machine with oil to appease its machine spirit. And that just so happens to also do the maintenance of the long because it used to be a maintenance, thing we did on this machine.
Oh, okay. That's really funny.
But they've forgotten a lot. So like a lot of the tech in the Imperium, like the strongest weapons, the biggest guns, like they can't make anymore because they forgot how.
So they're precious.
Yeah, and so they're precious. That's why the relics are like the relics. Why this gun has like tassels on it, is named after something because no one can make it anymore, and it can like shoot hell bullets at you, right?
Oh yeah, we don't want to run out of the hell bullet machine. No. We need those. We need those hell bullets.
And so they scour the galaxy looking for like lost tech, looking for lost information, and like you can't make anything new because everything that was worth making was made back in the Golden Age.
Wait, why can't
anything new?
Why can't they make anything new? Why can't they try to make something new?
Because everything that was worth making, that was worthy and was like perfect, was made back in the perfect days of the Golden Age of the Empire.
But what if they ran out of that?
Well, because new stuff might be inspired by chaos.
But they go through chaos to get places already.
Well, they can make new stuff as long as it's the old shit. Like I can make as many of these guns as we know how to make as I want. But like, let's say I want to make the gun shoot a bigger bullet, or like shoot a bullet never been made before.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about that. That might be inspired by chaos, and if it's inspired by chaos, these bullets could get possessed by demons.
Wait, bullets can be possessed by demons?
Maybe. Who knows?
I don't know. So my brain hurts.
Yeah. So it's like this like combination of like incredible technology that no one knows how to fix or build anymore, and they're worshiping it like it's like some machine god. They worship the Omnissiah, which is what they've said the Emperor is a avatar of the Omnissiah. So it's kind of like that like God, Son, Holy Spirit thing. Where like, oh, they're the same thing but different.
Yeah. Oh, look at. Oh no, the slide is changing. Okay.
Sometimes they make new stuff.
It says Adeptus Sororitas, the Sisters of Battle.
The Battle Nuns.
The Battle Nuns. Mommy, hello.
The Church of the Empire is called the Ecclesiastry.
I will not repeat that.
Ecclesiastry or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
No, give it a shout.
No, I won't. I'm not going to repeat. No, I can't. Ecclesiastry.
Right. Think of the Catholic Church, but like worse. like Catholicism, but like everything is about burning the witch and the heretic, and nothing about like being nice. And they have guns.
Okay.
But the Ecclesiastry can't have any men under arms based on the original agreement they made when they were formed. So guess what they did?
Because men are stinky.
Yeah, they can't have men under arms, so they got women to be the army. There was a guy that was rebelling, and he had the predecessors, the sisters, and when they realized that they're on the wrong side, they kicked his ass, and then they're like, we want to serve the real church, and then they formed the Sisters of Battle. So they're kind of like Space Marines, but they're not genetically advanced, but they have power armor, but they have like faith powers, so they can like burn you with holy fire because of their faith in the Emperor.
Where do they get their faith power from?
They would say it's the faith in the Emperor. Somebody else might say they're tapping into the warp, like Psychers do, and using magic, and then they would get burnt to death for saying that.
Of course, because it's a secret. You can't.
And
how dare you?
Their most powerful fighter, the Leaving Saint Celestine, might be a demon of order, or a demon of chaos made into a demon of order. But that's ridiculous. She's a saint, and the reason she comes back from the dead every time she gets killed is because the Emperor loves her.
Of course, that makes complete sense. I believe.
But Sisters of Battle are cool. They got cool units, cool craziness. They're fun.
Yeah, if you have faith power, and your leader or your saint magically comes back from the dead. I wish more people could magically come back from the dead because the Emperor loves them.
Yeah, only the Emperor loves them.
Okay, the next one is Adeptus Militarum, the Imperial Guard, who look, out of all the pictures, they look like the most normal dudes.
Yeah, pretty much. So imagine like a soldier in World War II. Do you got that in your mind? Or World War One?
Ironically, the picture I chose is a mimic of the, I forgot. It's the famous picture where they're like all trying to put up the flag.
Oh, the Iwo Jima flag?
Yeah, that's that. Yeah.
So you got those pictures. You got the picture in your head. Those soldiers.
Oh, I'm right here. Yes, definitely.
Yep. Now, put them into combat against all the stuff we've talked about so far, and that's the Imperial Guard.
Why? What? That's why. Okay, I was so curious about these guys. Like,
Yeah, they're
is there
awesome.
just a ton of them, and it makes up
Yeah,
for the
so the
fact
Imperial
that they're
Guard is like
not?
the army of the Imperium. So the most plentiful resource the Imperium has is people.
Of
There are
course.
trillions of people on thousands or maybe millions of worlds.
Okay.
And so if you get a million guys, give them a laser that can sometimes hurt something, and give them body armor that can maybe save them from a normal bullet once in a while, and not the hell bullets and the spleen rippers that they have.
The spleen and the
Yeah.
flamethrowers
And give
and
them tanks and give them artillery from
uh-huh.
like the World War era style stuff, and throw them against, 1,000 demons. Guess
Uh-huh.
what? There's a million of them. They'll eventually win.
Oh, that's so bad. That's so awful.
Yeah. So
Oh
they're like the
no.
normal dudes that defend the planet because there's only like once again there's I don't know how many space marines there are in total, but there's like one space marine for every like billion or 10 million or trillion human beings in the galaxy. Like they can't be everywhere.
Okay.
Like the Mechanicus are mostly doing their tech stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's like two custodians in the whole galaxy, and there's like only so many sororitas, right?
Mm-hmm.
So most of the time, these guys got to hold the line. These guys got to fight the bad things until the big guns show up, or until there's enough of them that they win. 'Cause they have big guns. Like their artillery is huge. Their tanks are powerful.
Yeah.
They have something called the Bane Blade, which is like a tank with like 30 guns attached to it or something like that. But they're the normal guys. So like people that like to be like, I'm just the normal soldier trying to fight these awful guys. That's the army they play because it's awesome. They're brave.
Yeah. They're like, so are those the guys that flunk trying to become a space marine?
No, most people never have a chance to even try to become a space marine. They
Oh,
only
okay.
recruit from like certain worlds, or like they take one dude from a planet that's good enough that then mostly will fail anyway. This is like, hey, we live on Earth. If Earth was like a planet Imperium, like we would have our planetary defense force, which is like even worse than the guard, and then we might have the guard regiment that we have, and it might get sent off into space to fight, but it also might come back to defend us if we need to.
I see. My brain is
And there's
starting to overload.
all sorts of like different like regiments and their whole thing, like the Death Corps of Krieg, which want to die, and so they just march straight into you with their bayonets.
I'm not gonna lie, my brain is starting to overload now.
Yeah, good. We're getting
Oh
into it.
no, it's probably good that we only have one more to go for the Imperium of Man because my brain is gonna combust like 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 a salamander's flame weapon. There, are you proud? I remembered that. Did you just say oof? Did you
I
just
said,
oof me? Okay.
Before we get to last, what do you want to review? Anything we've talked about so
No,
far?
Imperial Knights, let's go. This one's really cool. They look like just sort of like big mech guys.
Yeah, they're cool too. Everyone's cool. So the first empire or whatever it was before the Imperium, it came up and it collapsed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so certain planets, as they were spreading out there in that time, would have knights sent to them. So we're a little feudal planet that's kind of like old Arthurian England all over, right?
Mm-hmm.
And our defense is, well, we have this order of knights that pilot these giant mech suits, and that's our defense for our planet, right?
Okay.
And so they used to guard all these like feudal planets, like agriculture planets, like the non like city planets, non fortified industrial planets. And everything collapsed,
Okay.
and they were still out there. And as the Imperium spread again, they basically were like, oh, hey, we used to, we're still loyal to humans. We've been defending our planets for 10,000s of years now.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be loyal to you now. And then they joined up. Some of them joined up, some of them went to chaos.
Oh no.
But yeah, so they are these like feudal lords, princes that play at being knights kind of a lot of the time that pilot these giant ancient mech suits that they maintain.
So is it a person in the mech suit? They're not like
Yeah,
one
someone's
with the
inside
mech suit?
piloting.
Okay, okay.
There's a whole like, of course it's Warhammer 40k. There's like neural, like they plug themselves into it, something like that. Like there's more than just piloting it. But yeah, it's a dude that can normally get out of it and like walk around, and then he
Okay.
gets into his mech suit to fight.
Okay.
And
Because
so
I was just imagining like a very chivalrous giant mech, and it was very funny to me.
behold, fair citizen, bring me
Stop.
my oil.
Stop. Pretty.
But I think they're made because like the Mechanicus have things called Titans, which are like mountain-sized mechs that you can never use in a game because they're so expensive.
Okay.
So I think the company made the knights so that like you can have knights. Like they're expensive, but you could have a knight in your army. You can make a knight army of like 5 of these guys.
Okay.
And they're smaller, like they're like 20 feet, 30 feet, 50 feet tall.
Ah, yeah,
They're
so
still
small.
huge.
Very small. It's not a mountain. It's very small.
Yeah. That's the Imperial Knights. Now you know the main fact is the Imperium Man that you can play.
Okay.
And then there's still more like the Officio Assassinatorium and the Inquisition and the
And those are
the Navy.
but are those more factions, or are those just they're smaller parts of it?
There are other organizations, but they don't have their own armies, so you can't play them. All these things we said now, you nominally could play these on like the tabletop. You can make a 6th Legion army. You can make a Custodes army. They have units that you could play as and make an army out of them.
But all the others, oh boy, okay, they don't.
All the others have units sometimes, but they couldn't make their own army. So I could put like an assassin into my Imperial Guard unit, but they wouldn't be an assassin army.
Okay.
Are you gonna blow?
No, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Too much. Should we go to chaos?
No, we're gonna wrap that up for now. And next video we can tap into chaos and see how long that takes us. I've learned so much. I'm
the Dark Angels would like to learn your location.
No, Dark. I don't know where chaos is. I swear, I don't know. Hopefully, I retain any of this. You want to give me a question? You want to quiz me quick on anything?
Do you want me to quiz you now, or do you want me to quiz you at like the start of the next video?
Oh, that would be better. Yeah, let's do it at the start of the next video. Got to recap. But thank you.
And no cheat sheet.
Damn. Okay. So, but thank you for going over the Imperium of Man. I'm so happy to now be educated. Maybe the Emperor will love me next. And
Emperor loves everyone.
And then next time we'll do chaos. I mean, we won't do chaos because why would no? We will not do chaos. But we will
Maybe we'll get to the point where we'll get some genes stolen too.
Yeah, no. Like we're gonna steal some pants. I'd love to steal some pants. I could use some new pants. But yeah, if you like this, feel free to let me know, and then we can have a part 2, and I can be educated in the ways of definitely not chaos. Thanks so much, Aelfrik.
Of course.
All right. Until next time. Bye-bye.
I got a fish on me, there's a fish on you. A fish in the stream and a fish go boo. Fishy slap my face, fishy lick my knee. Fishy on the brain and fishy hat for me.